What's up, gamers? I'm starting a new series today called SWTOR Fashion Alerts. Basically, when there are armor sets that are new or available for a limited time, I'm going to do these videos occasionally letting you know when, where, and how to get them. And I'll also go over the individual pieces of the sets and maybe some of my thoughts on how I'd use them in putting together different outfits. Now, the reason I'm doing this is every once in a while, people in the comments will ask me about certain armor pieces that were only available for a limited period of time, and now they can't be obtained. Usually this involves armor sets or pieces from the Galactic Season's rewards tracks, which are unobtainable once the season ends. But there are other armor sets, or the currencies needed to buy them, that are only available at certain times of the year, like with Life Day, for example. So I figured people would appreciate a heads up when new armor sets are introduced so they can grab them while they're still around. I don't plan on doing this for cartel market items because I'm not inclined to push people to spend money or cartel coins in the game, and also these sets are typically obtainable forever after they're released. I plan instead to focus on new grindable sets or limited time sets, and I'll let you know if they require a subscription. So if you'd appreciate this kind of information and videos like these, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let's get into today's armor sets. The two armor sets we're taking a look at today were introduced with the new Dynamic Encounters open world events that the last update brought us. Now, as far as we know, these will be obtainable at any point from now on. But as people finish up the Dynamic Encounters achievements and get all their armor pieces, it'll become a little more time-consuming and annoying to run these encounters. So better to get them now while the getting's good. The first set is called Electric Gaze. The individual pieces from this set drop off the regular Dynamic Encounter missions on Hoth and Tatooine. I believe the pieces can drop off of regular enemies, but they definitely drop off the champion level enemies, at least at a far higher drop rate. Now, a nice little tip for farming these that I did not know at the outset and I wish I had is that these pieces can be target farmed. There are lists of which armor pieces drop from which missions. So if you're someone like me and you're wondering why you had 9 Electric Gaze helmets and no other pieces, it's because you were completing the same encounters over and over. Luckily, there are guides out there. I know Today in Tor has one, which lists which specific encounters drop which specific pieces. So if there's a specific armor piece you want or need to finish a set, check out those guides and focus on the dynamic encounters that drop those pieces. There are encounters that drop all of the pieces available to both Republic and Imperial characters, except for the bracers, oddly enough. Those only appear to drop off Imperial-only encounters. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this set as a whole, to be honest. It just looks like a bunch of mismatched pieces thrown together. But there are a few great items in here. While I don't think the helmet matches the rest of the set particularly well, I do think this is a great helmet for anyone looking to make a full droid character. The helmet is very large, fairly detailed, and pretty unique. At first I thought it reminded me of the Enfys Nest helmet from Solo, but I was wrong. Still, this helmet has kind of a droid tribal headdress thing going on. And it fully covers your head and neck, which is critical to role-playing as a droid character, something I've done with a few of my characters. Although that being said, the voice modulation on the helmet is pretty weak, which isn't great for that kind of role-playing. The chest piece is also fairly unique. I like the high-res texturing on this area under the ribs. I like that the chest plate looks like it's taken some hits, and of course I like the remains of this little poncho or whatever this is. The bracers work alright with the set, but on their own I don't think that they're anything too special. And for some reason I'm getting a kind of medieval look in my mind when I'm looking at them on their own, like a medieval archer or something. The gloves are interesting. They look bland at first, but looking at them closer, it looks like they're a fingerless glove over a tighter full glove. You can actually see the gap between the top layer and the part that's actually covering the fingers. A small detail, but it's kinda cool. The belt is awesome. It's got all these pods or canisters, this big central buckle, and some really good textures, but it just sits too high for my tastes. It'll look fine on newer armor sets where they've been moving the belts higher and higher, but it might cause some problems with older armor pieces. The leggings on this set are great. They're very unique. They have not one but 2 belts built into the leggings. There's a long butt cape that doesn't extend outside the legs or hips, so you can hardly see it from the front, which is good because those kinds of butt capes can be distracting. And most of all, it has some incredible texture on the butt cape as well as some really good details. Lastly, the boots aren't bad. There's not much unique about them, but they seem versatile, like they'll go well with a lot of different looks. Overall, the set doesn't dye very well in my opinion. The pants and the butt cape get way too bright and colorful, while the dye is muted everywhere else. Most of the gray or silver areas of the set stay gray or silver when you dye it. Except this weird thing I found with the shoulder pads. When I applied a dye with a red secondary color, the pauldrons randomly added in this yellow color. and when I dyed them blue, they got this purple hue. And parts of the helmet are getting those tertiary colors too, so I don't know what's causing that, but it could be fun to play around with. These electric gaze pieces bind to your legacy once you equip them, so they can be traded or transferred before being equipped. And even after you equip a piece, you can still send it to your other characters. Which is helpful because then you only need to obtain the set once. Lastly, while these only drop from encounters on Hoth and Tatooine right now, I believe they'll be adding 4 more planets to the list in the future: Makeb, Quesh, Nar Shaddaa, and Alderaan. I don't know if these new planets will bring new armor sets, but I assume the Electric Gaze set will drop from encounters on those planets as well once they're introduced. The next new set is the Hidden Chain set. Now these only drop off of the Hidden Chain lieutenants summoned at the end of the Hidden Chain invasion encounters on Hoth, Tatooine, Rishi, and Ilum. These encounters require a few steps, and they pop up on one of these 4 planets and last for 60 minutes. And there appears to be a 30-minute break between when one invasion ends and the next one starts. These can be completed by both Imperial and Republic players, but there's only ever one invasion active at a time, and they can only be completed by either Republic or Imperial characters, depending which side the invasion is active for. So if you don't see an active invasion on your character, make sure to check on a character from the other faction too. These pieces can't be target farmed as the drops seem to be random, so you just need to grind these invasions until you get every piece. Or the one you're looking for, at least. What I recommend doing is getting a ranged character, completing the invasion event once when it first pops up, and then just posting up in range of where the Hidden Chain Lieutenant spawns. Then you just make sure to attack each lieutenant that pops up for the remainder of the invasion as others summon them. You can only summon the lieutenant yourself once per toon once you complete the event, you lose the ability to call them in. But you get credit for attacking the lieutenants that others summon as they complete the event. By doing this, I was typically able to get 1 to 2 Hidden Chain armor pieces during a 60-minute invasion. Now, I'm also not a huge fan of this set as a whole either. It's identical to the armor sets worn by a lot of the Hidden Chain enemies, but once again, there are a few pieces here that I love. Working our way top to bottom, the helmet is meh, in my opinion. The front has a pretty bland Mandalorian look, and I don't care too much for these low polygon looking horns. The chest is alright, I like the Bowser spikes on the arms, but that's about it. Bracers are a bit too chunky for my tastes, but at least they're following the new design of having large bracers separate from the gloves, so you can use these to upgrade older armor sets. The gloves are very simple. The belt is okay, it's also pretty basic, but there's some good texture on these pouches. But these pants are so good. They have incredible textures all over, there's this nice quilted looking area underneath a little butt cape. But they're also open in the front with these relatively loose pants underneath. This is a very, very good piece. But it will only show the primary color off a dye module. The boots are really nice too. They look pretty unique, and again I like the little Bowser spikes on them. And there's some good texturing on the top of the front and all over the back of the boots. The set dyes fairly well, but all of the black portions stay black. Like with the Electric Gaze set, these pieces are also tradable and transferable before you equip them. And if you do equip them, they bind to your legacy and can be transferred to your other characters. As a side note, there are 5 other armor sets whose pieces apparently drop from the new dynamic encounters as well. The Dark Initiate, Wayfarer, Honored Champion, Guard Captain, and CZ-18X Avalanche sets. I guess these sets are based on 5 cartel market chess pieces that have been retired from the cartel market, so they gave us another way to obtain them, along with the pieces to the rest of the sets, which I don't think were available before. They're cosmetic-only items that are identical in appearance to the cartel market versions. And they're not very unique looking. I'm pretty sure there are easily obtainable look-alike sets for all of these. But there's something screwy here because I have never seen a single piece from 4 out of those 5 sets. I've only ever gotten pieces of the Dark Initiate set. Those pieces were dropping like candy for me from the Catastrophic Exchange encounter, but I never saw a single piece from the other sets in the hundreds of other encounters I ran. And there were none listed on the GTN when I looked for any of those other 4 missing sets. So I don't know what's up with that. Other than the tips I've mentioned already, it's just an RNG grind from there for the Electric Gaze and Hidden Chain sets, so it's going to take some time and patience. If you don't have time or patience to grind any of these 7 sets, luckily all of the armor sets covered today can also be purchased from other players on the GTN. Prices have dropped a lot since the dynamic encounters were first introduced too, and I assume they'll continue to drop for a while. One last note, all of the armor pieces and sets covered in this video are cosmetic only. They are only for use in the outfitter and can't be loaded with armor, mods, or enhancements, but they can be dyed. Have you already obtained some of these armor pieces or completed either of the sets? Any pieces here that you really like or plan to use in an outfit? Do you want more of these fashion alerts as new armors become available in SWTOR? Let me know all of that in the comments. Remember to like the video and subscribe for more fashion alerts, outfit videos, and other SWTOR content. For the Republic, long live the Empire, may the Force be with you, may the Force serve you, and I'll catch you on the next one.